Good afternoon, church family. This is Pastor Beasley. Wanted to give you somewhat of an update on where we are with regard to our plans for our church and gathering back together as quickly as we feel is safely possible. Let me just tell you that the last 2 days have really been something else. Yesterday, Governor Hutchinson gave us an updated worship guideline for the churches here in Arkansas. And I'll just tell you that after a lot of hours of study, conversations with other ministers, incidentally, I spoke to several pastor friends in Texas who've already tested the waters this past Sunday as their state is moving a little bit more quickly than we are on some of this. Then I'm going to say that as we've discussed as a staff today and following up on a lot of this, that we feel that we need additional time to prepare before we announce a specific return to activities. I know yesterday, if you saw the message I sent out, we had thrown out there after hearing that the governor was relaxing some of the conditions before we had a chance to examine them closely and observe what they might mean to the rest of us, to all of us, I should say. I mentioned that it was tentative or possible that we could consider the 17th of this month. As we've looked at the guidelines that he's offered, the conditions, the demands that are so stringently placed upon us, we feel like we're going to need a little more time to make sure that we can meet those conditions. So rather than us giving a specific time, I'm just going to say that obviously we're going to work to bring our congregation back together as quickly as possible. We are going to follow the guidelines that the governor has asked us to follow for several reasons. One is because at this point we find no reason not to cooperate with our government, at least certainly our state government. We understand that there is a separation between church and state. We understand that biblically there could come a point where we do not want to, or we don't feel that we can comply with everything. That could be a possibility. We're not looking into that right now, but that is not the case at this point. So I want you to know that we are going to do everything we can to comply with the guidelines established by our governor for us. We have to tell you that we don't see any advantage for rushing back just to be able to climb into the building, jump into the building. It's going to limit a significant number of our folks from attending automatically, our young families with kids, our older folks who will be more susceptible to catching the virus. So we feel like we need to have some careful planning. We really began a couple of weeks ago, but we're really starting to put some pieces of the puzzle together to ensure that we can come back together and seek to value the health of those who, in particular, those who are most vulnerable. So again, for the time being, we will continue just as we have been for the last several weeks. Everything will continue online just as you've seen in the past few weeks. We want to remind you that we have a number of our connection classes may be viewed online. Our teachers have set up through multiple ways. Some are using Facebook, some are using Zoom. Our pastors are leading studies that coordinate with your lessons on YouTube. So you have plenty of access to those resources, and those will continue. We encourage our teachers to continue to meet with their classes and give leadership there. Let me mention, as president of our Arkansas Baptist State Convention, I'm actually committed to meeting with pastors all over the state, scheduled for several hours of meetings, even tomorrow by Zoom. So be praying, because we want to be in a conversation that includes various sizes of churches, which may have a different outlook on things. We will factor all that in. That will help us continue to make good decisions about how we will move forward. I don't just want to lead our church wisely, but I want to help lead and be a great example to the other leaders in our state. So if you don't mind, please pray for all of us as we try to prayerfully come up with the right decisions for all of us. All right. Let me encourage you to interact with each other as much as you feel comfortable. Using the guidelines provided by our governor, of course. Some people are going to feel more comfortable with connecting more than others. That's fine. There's no judgment to be made there. So please avoid doing that, and just understand that our job is to factor in everybody's needs as your pastor and staff. I do know for a fact that some of you have already been meeting under conditions that I feel appear to be okay according to the governor's guidelines. I know some groups have met out in the parking lot and stayed in their cars and made a circle and dialogue through the windows, and a lot of creativity going on there. I know that several have been meeting. Some have met out under the pavilion and had distance between them, and had meals in the same proximity, and were able to visit and fellowship. A lot of things going on like that. I encourage you to do that if that's something you desire, and everyone feels comfortable with that that's involved in it. So we want you to have the fellowship. The word fellowship is a biblical word, and it's a need, and we want to try to do that in every way possible. Just remember that that others may feel differently than you do about how to handle this situation. I'm aware of that. I expect that, even between myself and others, and I'm going to honor your feelings about that, and I trust that you will honor that I represent not only my feelings but also the feelings of a lot of other people sometimes. So again, simply just be kind to one another, love one another. Boy, there's been a lot of ministry going on. We don't even have any idea until after this thing is somewhat in the past, and we can begin sharing about how you as God's people have been loving on one another, taking care of one another. It's been an incredible story. I can't wait for us to share some of these testimonies. So God bless you, and we'll be talking to you as soon as we begin to gain some more details about these areas, these issues. Been great talking to you. We're praying. We're seeking God. Pray for us as we do it. Take care.